Right. Good evening, everyone, and thank you for attending this evening's board meeting. This is, let's see, is this the regular board meeting? No.
This is the annual plan public hearing meeting.
Of course it is. Give me just one moment. All right, so again, this is the special board meeting of the Cincinnati Metropolitan Housing Authority for Tuesday, March 31st, 2020, being conducted via webcam, video, and teleconferencing for the purpose of the public hearing for the CMHA fiscal year 2020-2021 annual plan. The meeting is now called to order. Roll call for attendance. Ms. Mitchell.
Present.
Mr. Weedman.
Present.
Mr. Harris. Are you on?
Present.
Thank you. I don't know if Mr. Moore has joined us or not.
No, sir.
No. And the chair is present. We have a quorum. Agenda item number 3 is the public hearing for the CMHA annual plan for fiscal year 2020-2021. During the comment period required by HUD, CMHA accepted written recommendations from the public on the annual plan. A copy of the summary with the comments and CMHA's responses was sent to the individuals and organizations that submitted comments. A final summary will be posted on the CMHA website on April 17, 2020. At this time, the floor is open for the public hearing on the annual plan. The board will hear comments only about the annual plan for fiscal year 2020-2021 at this time. Members of the public who have joined via video conference and dialed in through the teleconference link who wish to speak, please identify yourself by your name, your address, and any organization that you're representing. And when your name is called, please restate your name and speak directly to the board. Thank you. Are there any speakers to come before the board pertaining to the annual plan? All right, it would appear there are no requests to speak. The floor will remain open for a period of 15 minutes. If in that time no one comes forward to speak, the meeting will be adjourned. So we are on hold. Mr. Jump, if you'll start the 15-minute clock and let us know when we're there, I'd be grateful.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
This is Mr. Harris. I just want to double check my sound. Is everyone hearing me?
Yes.
Okay, yeah, I just had an internet glitch, so I'm back. Great, thank you.
Okay, thank you.
So I would let the board know we have 10 minutes left in the comment section.
Yeah.
I would let the board know we have 5 minutes left for public comments.
Mr. Miles, I have 6:01. I'm pretty sure we started right on the mark there.
Actually, we have 1 minute left.
Okay. We'll give everyone the benefit of the doubt with a 6:02 cease. Is that agreeable?
That's fine.
We're not too far from that. Okay. Thank you, Gary, for keeping time. And if there's no other business to come before the board, may I have a motion to adjourn the meeting?
Motion to adjourn.
Thank you. And thank you for the second. Roll call, Ms. Mitchell,
Aye.
Mr. Weedman,
Aye.
Mr. Harris.
Aye.
I don't believe Mr. Moore has been able to join us. So I'll move on, and the chair votes aye, the motion passes. The annual plan public hearing meeting is adjourned. Now for the regular board meeting of the Cincinnati Metropolitan Housing Authority for Tuesday, March 31st, 2020.
Pardon me, Mr. Chair.
Yes, please.
We would be on the instrumentalities, Chairman.
Oh, I beg your pardon. Okay. Yeah.
Mr. Miles, you can actually start wherever you want. There's no protocol. We just usually do that. So
Of course we do.
if you wanna just start where you were, it's perfectly fine.
Okay. I think I'm going to have to print that agenda off. I didn't realize that it wasn't included in the between the two chairmen's agendas, or is it, Gary?
Yes, there were 4 different chairman's agendas.
Oh, 4. Okay. Well,
You need a couple minutes to get that?
I do. I do. So can I sign out?
We'll just hold. Do you need to sign out to print it, or?
I don't know. That's my question.
I don't think.
I think you will.
I think you can just minimize this, and I think you'll be fine.
Okay.
That's up at the top. It should be on your right-hand side, the bar. Should be able
Okay.
to minimize this and then
Okay.
go to your other functions.
All right.
Just put on your mute
Mute.
in your while you're doing it.
Okay. Let me go back and I beg pardon, everyone.
No problem.
Okay, I'm not really finding an opportunity to mute myself. I'm looking at how easy was that screen.
There you go. I just muted him.
So Gary, we have touchstone properties as well as instrumentalities.
We have instrumentalities, then the touchstone, and then the regular board meeting. The instrumentalities does have the statement regarding about the virtual meeting.
Yep.
The heading actually says contemporaneous, Mr. Miles, if that helps.
Bill, you want me to resend it to you all in one? Okay.
Rob, there you
I'm reading his lips. He says, I got it, Tom.
go.
Yeah, yes, thank you. I believe I'm printing everything now. Okay, now I'm going to rejoin the meeting by,
You're already there, so you're okay.
okay, you can see me?
Yep.
All right, now I'm going to close my email and my email and maximize restore.
Mr. Harris, can you take your I think you left your mute on because there you go.
Sure, yeah.
Okay, I must admit I'm at post attendee Zoom tab.
Well, we can hear you and see you.
Okay,
Yeah, we're good.
So
But
you
I
can just
can't-
you can just read it off there because we can see you and hear you.
okay, I'd like to be able to see you all. Okay.
Go here, I want to hear you. Okay. You don't have to read it. They know.
Okay, good evening, everyone, and thank you for attending this evening's board meeting. CMHA is holding its monthly board meeting virtually via webcam and teleconferencing on Tuesday, March 31st, 2020, as approved through Ohio's novel coronavirus response bill, which directly affects how local governments throughout the state operate in conducting public business. These sweeping changes were approved Thursday, March 27th, 2020. This provision sunsets when the governor withdraws a state of emergency, or December 1st, 2020, whichever is sooner. This is the contemporaneous meeting for instrumentalities that do not have any new business or matters requiring deliberation. The meetings of the following instrumentalities: Laurel Homes 1, Lincoln View Incorporated, Reserve on South Martin, Southwest Ohio Housing Development Incorporated, Cary Crossing Development Corporation, West Union Square Development Corporation, Sutter View Development Corporation, Pinecrest Rad Development Corporation, Park Eden Evanston LLC, and Park Eden Apartments are hereby called to order. Roll call, Ms. Mitchell.
Present.
Mr. Weedman.
Present.
Did Mr. Weedman vote?
Yes.
Thank you. Mr. Harris? Did Mr. Harris vote?
Not yet.
Okay. He's not muted, is he?
He's not. He may have lost internet because I see his
Oh.
screen has frozen.
Okay. Well, why don't we just pause?
Yeah. There he
Can you
goes.
hear me now?
There he goes. Yep, there you go.
Okay.
Sorry, for some reason, sorry, but I can still hear you guys, but present.
Okay, so we're roll call for attendance. Mr. Harris?
Present.
Thank you. And the chair is present. We have a quorum. Commissioners, have you reviewed the February 28, 2020 minutes for these instrumentalities? And if so, are there any questions?
Make a
Hearing
motion to
none.
approve.
Thank you. A
Second.
second? I think I heard Ms. Mitchell second that. Roll call, Ms. Mitchell.
Aye.
Mr. Weedman.
Aye.
Mr. Harris.
Aye.
And the chair votes aye. The motion passes. There is no new business for these instrumentalities.
Motion to adjourn.
Thank you.
Second.
A second. Thank you. Roll call for adjournment. Ms. Mitchell.
Aye.
Mr. Weedman.
Aye.
Mr. Harris.
Aye.
And the chair votes aye. The meeting is adjourned. Now, forgive me, are we moving on to the chairman's agenda for the board meeting? Regular
Touchstone.
Touchstone, okay. I didn't get a chairman's note print off for the agenda. Did you all? Did I overlook it?
I did.
You did?
Mhm.
Okay. Do you want to take over this agenda, Tom, rather than
If you
hold
want me
us
to do, I'll do it, yeah.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. This is the regular meeting of Touchstone Property Services, Inc. The meeting is called to order. Roll call for attendance. Ms. Mitchell.
Present.
Mr. Weedman is present. Mr. Harris.
Present.
And Mr. Miles.
Present.
We have a quorum. Approval of minutes. Item number 3 is approval of the minutes. Is there a motion to approve the minutes from the Touchstone Property Services
So moved.
Board? Okay.
And a second?
Do you have a second?
Second.
Second. Motion is second. Any further discussion? Are there any corrections? If none, Ms. Mitchell?
Aye.
Mr. Weedman votes aye. Mr. Harris?
Aye.
And Mr. Miles.
Aye.
The motion passes. Discussion and recommendations, resolution number 096, resolution to approve February 2020 financial statements for Touchstone Property Services. Is there a motion to accept?
Motion.
We have a second?
Second.
Second motion and a second. Are there any questions of Rima from the board? If not, roll call. Ms. Mitchell?
Aye.
Mr. Weedman votes aye. Mr. Harris? Mr. Harris?
Aye.
He might have froze up again.
No, he said aye.
Oh, did he say aye? Okay. Mr. Miles?
Aye.
The resolution passes. If there's no other business, we'll take a motion to adjourn.
Motion.
We have a second?
So moved.
Okay,
Motion and a second. Ms. Mitchell?
Aye.
Mr. Weedman votes aye. Mr. Harris? Mr. Harris?
His connection.
Aye. Someone hear me?
he said aye.
And Mr. Miles?
Aye.
We are adjourned.
Thank you, Mr. Weedman. Now. Now, am I correct to say we're moving on to the regular board meeting?
Yes.
Thank you. Again, good evening, everyone, and thank you for attending. This is the regular board meeting of the Cincinnati Metropolitan Housing Authority for Tuesday, March 31st, 2020. The meeting is now called to order. Roll call for attendance, Ms. Mitchell.
Aye.
Mr. Weedman.
Present?
Mr. Harris.
Present.
Thank you. And the chair is present. We have a quorum. Item 3 is approval of minutes. Is there a motion to approve the minutes from the regular board meeting held on February 28, 2020? I'm hearing a motion and a second.
Second.
Thank you.
Second.
Thank you. Any corrections to the minutes? Hearing none, roll call for the minutes. Ms. Mitchell.
Aye.
Mr. Weedman.
Aye.
Mr. Harris.
Aye.
And the chair votes aye. The motion passes. Item 4 on our agenda is presentations, of which we have none this month. Moving on, item 5 on our agenda is public comments. As well, we do not have any requests to speak this month. Item 6 is the J. Rab Ross grant update, and we have no J. Ross grant report this month. Moving on to item 7 is discussion of secretary recommendations. Item 7A is the financial report, and we'll take that as resolution 5370, approving the bad debt write-offs for January 2020.
Motion?
Thank you. A
Second.
second? Did I talk over the second?
Got it.
Second.
There was a second.
Okay, thanks. Any questions or discussion regarding resolution 537? Okay.
Yeah, I had a question for maybe Rima could just answer how this compared to last year, January write-off.
Absolutely. So this the total for this month was $48,606,000. I'm sorry, $606. And the next resolution 5371 was the amount was $39,730. So in total, year to date, we are averaging about $30,159. And last year's average was about $22,000. So we're slightly above what our annual average is, and that's mostly primarily due to the issues we had with the missing the deposit issues with U.S. Bank.
Okay. All righty.
Okay. Do you think that that will remain so, or do you think at some point in the future that difference will be resolved?
Raymond, if I could jump in and answer that real quick. I think that since this situation, this virus situation that we have, and timely rent changes, I think we're probably going to end up the year a little higher than we did last year, because the next 2 months is going to be critical to those numbers, and we just don't know where they are. So far, we're better, total than last year, but we may end up a little higher, and it will be because of the bank issue and then the current issue that's going on right now. Because we have a lot of people that have lost their jobs. We got to do the updated recertifications, and then we're not filing anyone in court. And so we had, for example, 77 people to file that we stopped because of, so if those people don't catch up and we add new people to it, it will get worse on a bad debt.
Greg, did you say 77 people that we had stopped?
That we had in motion because of the virus issue.
Mm-hmm. And how many of those are due to non-payment?
All of those are non-payment. It's just that some of those probably would have paid. We just don't know the number because we didn't file them. So what we're doing, we are trying to collect from those 77 and using the LIFT program and PRC, alerting them about that. But the good part about it would be if we could collect from 50 to 65% of the 77 and never have to file them.
Okay. Any other questions from board members on resolution 5370, and then we'll get to 5371. Okay, hearing none, roll call, Ms. Mitchell.
Aye.
Mr. Weedman.
Aye.
Mr. Harris.
One question. This is Mr. Harris.
I think he may have frozen up again.
No, he says he's got a question.
Oh, okay.
Oh, go ahead, please. Mr. Harris, can you hear me? I'm asking you if you have a question, please go ahead.
I can hear you guys very well.
Yeah, you are simply inaudible at this moment.
Could Mr. Harris dial in over the telephone for the audio part?
Gary, can you text him to?
I think he's trying to go back out and come back in. I think he's having an issue with his connection. So it looks like he just tried to go back out and he's coming back in. So we probably just need to hold on for a second and let him come back in.
Hey, Rob, Ebel, in the event that his internet connection doesn't get a little more solid, do we have a facility for him to dial in?
Yeah, he
It's
can
still-
dial in
it's-
the number with the code.
It still won't work because he's a board member and we have to see him.
Right. It sounds like he can hear all of you, but his response, I'm wondering if he can type his question in a chat to everyone.
No, we
Well-
have to see it. We have to hear it verbally as well.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Okay, he's
Right.
back.
Is this better?
Yeah, that's perfect.
Much improved, Mr. Harris. Go ahead with your question, please.
Sorry about that. I just left my iPad and joined with my computer. No, my question is just that just to give me a sense of like on a good year, what is the average bad debt for carrying? So like, how does this number compare to when we say like we're having a good year? What's typically bad debt? What do we get? How much we carry?
Last year was one of our best years, which at this time it was 22,000.
Okay, so that's okay. Great, appreciate it.
Okay, so we're ready for your vote on the resolution 5370, Mr. Harris. Thank you. And the chair votes aye, the resolution passes. Now moving on to resolution 5371, approving the bad debt write-offs for February 2020.
Motion to approve.
Thank you.
Second.
Thank you. Any additional questions on 5371? Hearing none, roll call, Ms. Mitchell,
Aye.
Mr. Weedman.
Aye.
Thank you. Mr. Harris.
Aye.
Very well. And the chair votes aye, the resolution passes. Now resolution 5372 to approve fiscal year 2020 January and February financial statements for the Cincinnati Metropolitan Housing Authority.
Motion.
Thank you.
Second.
Thank you. Any questions? Hearing none, roll call, Ms. Mitchell,
Aye.
Mr. Weedman,
Aye.
Mr. Harris,
Aye.
and the chair votes aye, the resolution passes. Item 7B is a request for approval to solicit bids for the following items. Resolution 5373, providing authorization to proceed with the request for proposals and solicitations for general goods and services from outside vendors. One, solicitation 2020-3004, Mariana Terrace, maintenance building renovation. That's pre-rad.
Motion
Is
to
there
approve.
a second?
Second.
Thank you. Any questions? Hearing none, roll call, Ms. Mitchell,
Aye.
Mr. Weedman,
Aye.
Mr. Harris.
Aye.
The chair votes aye, the resolution passes. Item 7C is resolutions to award contract renewals. Resolution 5374, authorizing the CEO of CMHA to sign a one-year contract extension option for contract 2018-6001. System software for agency-wide management with Yardi Systems Incorporated, and the CEO be authorized to approve change orders for a sum total of up to 20% of the contract value paid for by capital funds, administrative fees, operational funds, and management service funds.
Motion.
Thank you.
Second.
Thank you. Any questions on that one? Hearing none, roll call, Ms. Mitchell,
Aye.
Mr. Weedman,
Aye.
Mr. Harris.
Aye.
And the chair votes aye, the resolution passes. Resolution 5375, authorizing the CEO of the CMHA to sign the first one-year contract extension option with Best Way of Indiana Incorporated and Rumpke of Ohio Incorporated for solicitation 2019-1004. Waste collection services paid for by operational funds and management services funds.
Motion.
Thank you.
Second.
Thank you. Any questions? Hearing none, roll call, Ms. Mitchell,
Aye.
Mr. Weedman,
Aye.
Mr. Harris.
Aye.
The chair votes aye, the resolution passes. Resolution 5376, authorizing the CEO of CMHA to sign the first one-year contract extension option with Urban Sites Construction, LLC, Penrose Development, LLC, and Model Construction, LLC for solicitation 2019-4004. Development partners for the Cincinnati neighborhoods of Over the Rhine, West End, and the Central Business District, paid for via development funds.
Motion.
Second.
Thanks. Any questions? Hearing none, roll call. Ms. Mitchell,
Aye.
Mr. Weedman,
Aye.
Mr. Harris.
Aye.
The chair votes aye, the resolution passes. Item 7D is adopt a resolution to award the following construction contracts. We have no new construction contracts this month over $100,000. Moving on, item 7E, adopt a resolution, the general category, resolution 5377, authorizing the CEO of CMHA to enter into a contract for solicitation 2020-1001. Locksmith supplies and equipment with IDN H. Hoffman Incorporated, a division of IDN Global Incorporated, in a not to exceed amount of $100,000 annually per maximum 5-year contract, funded by operational funds, administrative fees, management services, capital funds, and grants.
Motion.
Thank you.
Second.
Thank you. Any questions? Hearing none, roll call. Ms. Mitchell,
Aye.
Mr. Weedman, Mr. Harris,
Aye.
and the chair votes aye. The resolution passes. Resolution 5378, authorizing the CEO of CMHA to enter into a contract for solicitation 2020-3001 security camera systems with Ocean 10 Security LLC in a not to exceed amount of $500,000 annually per maximum 5-year contract, funded by operational funds, administrative fees, management services, capital funds, and emergency grant funds.
Motion.
Thank you.
Second.
Thank you. Any questions?
You know, can I just, this is a little bit off the subject, but I meant to ask this last month. How many LPRs are we running right now? Do we know? Joe, maybe Joe can answer that. Is Joe on?
Doesn't sound like Joe is on. I don't know the answer to that, Tom. I can get that answer for you.
But we're still running them, right? We still have some of
Yes.
them running.
Yes.
And what is an LPR?
It's a license plate reader.
Okay.
It's a license plate reader that we have at Millville. And every time someone goes in and out of the parking lot, it reads every license plates and records up at Radcliffe for the Cincinnati Police.
Oh, great.
So we still have that one, Tom. What I don't know, and Marquita may be able to answer that, and I think she's on. Do we have one at Winton, or is just Millville?
I believe it's just the one at Millville, Mr. Johnson. I can get a definite total, but I believe it's just the one in Millville.
Yeah.
All right.
And it's still up and running as well.
Okay.
But it's also a device that's movable, right?
No.
No,
I think that's fixed.
Yeah, it's fixed. Yeah.
fixed. Okay. Does that answer your question, Tom?
It does. Thank you.
Okay. So let's see. Roll call for resolution 5378. Ms. Mitchell,
Aye.
Mr. Weedman,
Aye.
Mr. Harris.
Aye.
The chair votes aye. The resolution passes. Resolution 5379, authorizing the CEO of CMHA to enter into a contract for solicitation 2020-7003. Moving and packing services with E.E. Ward Moving and Storage Company, LLC, Bell Moving and Storage Incorporated, Keith D. Hurd, doing business as Extreme Contract Cleaning, and the American Shipping and Packing Incorporated, in a not to exceed amount of $400,000 annually per firm for a maximum 5-year contract, paid for by operational funds and development funds.
Motion.
Thank you. I think I heard a second.
Second.
Okay, great. Any questions? Hearing none, roll call. Ms. Mitchell?
Aye.
Mr. Weedman?
Aye.
Mr. Harris?
Aye.
The chair votes aye. The resolution passes. Resolution 5382, authorizing the CEO of CMHA to enter into a contract 2019-7005 for sheriff's services with the Hamilton County Sheriff's Office in a not to exceed amount of $600,000 annually for a maximum 5-year contract, paid for by operational funds, administrative fees, and management service funds.
Motion.
Thank you. A second, please.
Second.
Thank you. Any questions?
Yeah, this is Reginald Harris. What is our contract? What are we paying the sheriff's office for?
So at Stanley Rowe, we have a contract with the City of Cincinnati Police Department, and we have a contract with the Sheriff's Department. The Sheriff's Department, about 2 years ago, a year and a half ago, we had a bad situation at Stanley Rowe where someone's life was taken. And so we went out and we talked to the Cincinnati Police Department, and we talked to the Sheriff's Department, and I found out that probably about 10 years ago, the Sheriff's Department used to be at Stanley Rowe, and they manned it and they got it under control and made it safer for the residents. Because of the surrounding area, Stanley Rowe gets a lot of traffic, and it's about 450 units in a half a block radius. So they have a 24-hour shift that they man Stanley Rowe, and we pay for regular guards there as well. And since we've had the sheriff there, it's been a lot quieter, and the residents are very appreciative. So they do that. They actually, when we were having board meetings at the office, they were attending our board meetings for us, and then they will also do other items that we would like for them to do in the county here and there, but majority and the lion's share of what they do is right there at Stanley Rowe.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, any other questions on that resolution? Hearing none, roll call. Ms. Mitchell?
Aye.
Mr. Weedman?
Aye.
Mr. Harris?
Aye.
The chair votes aye. The resolution passes. Resolution 5383, ratifying emergency resolution numbers 5380 and 5381 as passed an emergency board meeting of the Cincinnati Metropolitan Housing Authority for purposes of responding to COVID-19 pandemic and in conjunction with State of Ohio Executive Order 2020-01D, declaring a state of emergency in the entire state of Ohio.
Motion.
Thank you. A
Second.
Thank you. Any questions? Hearing none, roll call. Ms. Mitchell?
Aye.
Mr. Weedman?
Aye.
Mr. Harris?
Aye.
And the chair votes aye. The resolution passes. If there's no other business to come before the board, may I have a motion to adjourn the regular meeting?
Mr. Miles, I just wanted to clarify one point from, I believe, Greg, might have been the December meeting, when we voted to put those 66 lots, or 68 lots together, 66, I think, of which went to the Port Authority.
Correct.
Subsequent to that transfer to the Port Authority, they either have or are going to the Hamilton County Land Reutilization Committee, of which I serve on the board. So just to be transparent and make sure there are no issues with that one way or the other, I wanted to bring that to everyone's attention. I did vote in favor of the transfer to the port because it is not the Hamilton County Land Reutilization Committee. And subsequent to that, they are being transferred, if they haven't already, to the Land Reutilization Committee. So I wanted to make sure there was no connection or conflict there in any way.
Right. And just to clarify, you had no knowledge that that final step was going to occur.
That's correct.
Voted as a CMHA commissioner.
That's correct.
That was a first time event. Well,
So, Mr. Chair, before you go on, Gary, did you capture that?
I did, yes.
Okay.
And we are recording as well.
yeah.
I want to make sure it's in the notes though as well.
Yes,
Yeah.
sir.
Yeah. Well, I don't know if this is something we need to go beyond what Tom has shared with us at this point. I think that it's good that it become a part of the meetings, the minutes of this meeting. And if there is some issue in any way, then I suspect staff can report back to us, and we'll go from there. How's that sound, Tom?
Fine. I just want to be on record so that everybody knew
Yeah.
that
Right.
this transfer was to the Port Authority, not to the Hamilton County Land Reutilization Committee. And so I had no way of knowing that those 66 lots were going to be transferred to the Land Reutilization Committee until after it was already done. So or was destined for there. So
Yeah. And I received that information as nothing but the most transparent explanation and conduct on your part. So thank you. You want to add anything to that, Tom, or do any other board members want to add any staff want to add to that tonight? Okay. Then if there's no other business, let's see. Do we have a motion and a second?
Motion.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you. Any questions beyond that one? Hearing none, roll call for adjournment. Ms. Mitchell,
Aye.
Mr. Weedman,
Aye.
Mr. Harris,
Aye.
and the chair votes aye. The motion passes and the regular board meeting is adjourned. And notwithstanding the chair's failure to have all the chairman's agenda in front of him, I thank you for being a part of an historic moment in the history of CMHA with our first
Indeed.
video.
Everywhere.
Yeah. And who knows, maybe next month we'll be going back to our more familiar in-person arrangement. But if not, we've proven to ourselves and all our stakeholders that this is another vehicle available to us to conduct CMHA's business. And I do regret that I did not say this during the meeting proper, but I'm going to take the liberty of speaking for all my fellow board members because I just know this is their sentiment, that we're grateful in lieu of the risks that our employees take inherent in this work. We're grateful for their performance. We're grateful for their leadership team. And it's just more evidence that CMHA is moving forward. And as a board member, as board members, I don't think we could be more proud of the staff and all's efforts during this incredibly difficult time. And I'm sure that there are folks who are waiting for some response, but I am also sure that there are a whole lot fewer than there would be if we didn't have this staff and this leadership team at this time. So any board member want to add to that or subtract from that?
Bill, I'd just like to add that, I don't know what that noise is. I'd like to thank Mark and Rob and Gary and Greg for putting this together, making sure we've had a lot of trials, making sure everybody's got it going, everybody's it's working. Everybody did a super job. So thank you to all of you for making this happen.
Here, here. Well said.
All around. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Well, then I guess we'll close out the video session and look forward to another day tomorrow.
I will say, Mr. Miles, I know we're ready to go, but I just wanted to
take your time.
Since we were talking about this, Mark and Lisa Isham, we did today our first video inspection.
Wow.
Where I've been part of a committee from HUD, where there's a few housing authorities that's trying video inspections. And I would say today, what Mark and what Lisa were able to put together with our inspector at home doing this inspection, it wasn't perfect. Obviously, when you first do it, it's not. But I will say, I did send that on to HUD, and it's already, they like what they saw, and it's going to make its way all the way up to one of the third in commands in Washington, D.C. So if HUD does this waiver to allow us to do this, you guys should know that CMHA was part of making that happen for the country.
All right, that's what we call best practice, huh?
Yep, there you go. There you go.
So how does it work? Does the tenant hold their iPhone aimed around the unit? Or?
Lisa, you want, or Mark, whichever one of you guys want to explain?
This is Mark. The test we did was the landlord used their smartphone, and they were guided by the inspector. And as the inspector would walk down through his inspection list, he would ask them to show me the front door, show me the locks, show me the kitchen, and walked around the unit and then the property, the utility room, etc. So it was pretty neat. It has a lot of promise for several types of inspections, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, and it was the landlord this time because it was an initial inspection. The unit's just joining the program.
Okay. So Lisa, if it's for an existing tenant, would it be the tenant who would lead the tour with their iPhone in hand?
Yes.
Or whatever their device.
Right.
Yeah. Well, this has potential to add a lot of productivity.
Plus reduce cost as well, I assume.
Exactly, yeah.
Definitely. Knock more out in a day.
Yeah. I'm sure you'll do some audits of some of those just to make sure there's no way to defeat the integrity of it. But boy, that's neat.
And also from a psychological perspective, I mean, it just places the resident at the center and there's a certain amount of agency there. So just to think that you have a certain amount of control, I mean, I think that when you think about a public housing situation and the amount of intrusion on privacy that happens with our residents, and so to be able to retain some of that agency and drive that process, I think is a win-win. So, yeah.
Well, and how does that work in terms of scheduling? And to Reggie's expanding on his point,
well, to kind of answer, to go to both of those. So as part of this trial, they are looking at doing REACT inspections this way as well. So that and then, and Mr. Harris is right, we potentially could do some inspections this way for our units that we own, operate, and manage by a tenant, saying you have to be there. Well, only thing we have to do is have the tenant go around, and the tenant's best interest to show us what issues are there as well. So What we've been talking about, what I've been talking about with this group, HUD is looking at expanding it pretty large. So the ideal is if we could do 11 to 14 inspections a day, because of drive time, gas, cars, we probably could get up to maybe 20 and not spend the money in gas, car insurance. An inspector actually could do it from the office, or they could actually do it from home, and we cut out even have an office desk space, all of that. So this is, just the start of what could really go well. The other part about scheduling is you guys just approved extension with our software, and the 20% of change order. The reason that that's there because we want to add portals to our software for landlords and for our tenants to do recertifications and to interact with us more and more through the system. So once we get our base system set up, we want to add these portals, and all of these, and this apparatus will link right into all of that information. As far as the scheduling, it would speed up as long as the paperwork is there on the housing choice voucher side. It would speed up our ability to get out to do an inspection to bring somebody on the program, because we have some RTA Express now, but we're able probably to schedule. We're saying if we have 5 inspectors, let's say we're giving them 10 a day, now we're talking about doubling that. So now we have 5, they get 20, 25 a day, and then everybody get instant information and pictures about pass or fail. And the other thing that HUD liked about this, Mark saved this to YouTube. So I could send you the link, and you guys could actually just take a look at how it went overall today as well. So HUD, I will tell you, they really, really like that they're able to see it. So if they get a complaint, they could just pull it up themselves and look at it to see if it's a legitimate complaint.
Yeah, it's instantly digitized.
Yep.
And again, I'm hearing in Reggie's questions, comments, what's in it for the tenant? We're all used to being told by a utility, pick one, we'll be there between 8 and 12 or longer. Do you see this narrowing that window of a tenant standing by waiting for us? Do you see that as a benefit of this too? It would seem that.
If HUD allows this waiver to happen, and once we get better at it, and it'll take a little time to get, and the reason I'm not going to say yes right off the bat, eventually my answer is yes, is because we have to get down to a science where we want a person to go as soon as they go in a unit and make that uniform, whether they go right, left, living room, and all that.
Okay.
Once we get that down and get that uniform through video, then we can dictate how long does it take to do a video inspection, because we pretty much have it down how long it would take to do a walkthrough inspection.
Yes. Well,
so
that's
once we get that down, yeah, we'll be able to tell a person more exact, could you be there and be ready within a 10 to 15 minute window.
Wow. Yeah. No, I take your point. The inspector can go pretty quickly, physically on site. The unknown, especially the first time around, is the variation in the speed of the tenant to take commands in terms of where to aim next. But it would seem if we could keep this going long enough, the second time around, it just gets better and more efficient for everyone.
Yeah, definitely. You use more equipment, then you get more consistent. with the whole process. So the more we do, the better overall it'll be.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
Great job.
Sir, Mr. Miles, I would just, Mark got a lot of credit for this, but I have to say, Robert Ebel from ESP Media, our partner here that's helping with the video conference, was also instrumental in doing the virtual inspection today, yesterday as well.
Oh,
great.
interesting.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Good job, Rob.
Yeah.
Thank you all.
Yeah. This has been quite a day. Quite a day as commissioners. Okay. Anybody have any more to add for the good of the order?
Stay safe and healthy. That's all.
Yeah.
That's all we can do right now. We're all in it together.
We're all in it together.
Be safe.
Yes. Have a great night.
Yeah,
Right.
See you again soon.
Hey, Laverne,
Yeah.
you tell Sophia. Is that Sophia?
Yeah, Sophia, that's my granddaughter.
You tell Sophia. Give her a big kiss for her right now.
Yeah, I'm still in Maryland, so you know.
Oh, you are?
I am.
Oh, well, good. Thank you.
All righty. See you all later.
All
Stay
right.
safe and healthy. Bye-bye.
Good
Bye-bye.
night.